If you were looking for a fun, easy to fly, durable Tundra, this is it. Welcome to the shop. Durafly Hobby King and the group has created several Tundras. We've got the regular Tundra, the Grand Tundra, even a micro Tundra, and now we have the Tundra PX or TPX. It's a profile Tundra, specifically for super lightweight flying, and boy, it's made out of EPP foam, and it can take some abuse. 41-inch wingspan, 4S. I'm flying it with these Turnigy 850 milliamp 4S batteries. Pretty cool. Also have the high voltage version of it. Both of them work great. In this video, I'm going to go through what I normally do. I'm going to talk about all the parts. I'm going to assemble it. There is a fair bit of assembly involved in this. I'm going to go over the setup. I'm going to fly the heck out of it. Going to come back to the shop and talk about the pros and cons of this plane. If you like this content, hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. I appreciate it. If you have a question, leave a comment in the description below. And in the description also, there are links to Hobby King's website where you can get one of these things. Stick around. All right, let's crack open the box and see what's inside. Take a look at the wing. It is, again, it's an EPP foam wing, which is very solid, very kind of dense, durable, which is good. Servos, pretty good quality metal geared servos. They have these little plastic nubbins right there, and that's where the carbon fiber rods are going to go in to kind of stabilize the wing. But all in all, you know, pretty solid piece of equipment. You got a carbon fiber spar running through the whole thing. It is a semi-symmetrical wing, so it's not your typical flat foamy. Let's take a look at the elevator, which is really a stabilator. It is the whole stabilizer or elevator. It moves. All right, so massive throw. Those two pieces right there eventually get glued onto that carbon fiber spar. Pay attention in the documentation to make sure you're doing it properly, because you don't want to mess that up. Most of the flat foamies I've put together, there's a lot of assembly for the fuselage. This one, the Tundra PX, it's all done for you. All of the reinforcing carbon fiber spars are put in, the motors installed, ESC, all the servos, everything is ready to go. I will point out it's an XT30 connector, so you're going to have to get some batteries or an adapter if you're not familiar or you don't have a lot of those XT30s. Obviously, you can buy some new batteries for it. This is unique because it is a 4S and they're pretty small batteries, but just something to think about. Comes with a bag of parts. Interesting, there's no screws. It's all basically plastic parts, prop, and carbon fiber spars. Well, the wheels are something only a mother could love because they're not very attractive. However, they are lightweight and they just snap into place into the fuselage, so you can remove it if you don't like it. As I mentioned, this one comes with a battery. It's an XT30 4S 850 milliamp battery. A typical Durafly setup, you have this one pager with a QR code right there. Click that, and then you can download and print the documentation. That little bag I showed earlier with carbon fiber spars, you got 4 carbon fiber spars, which help hold the wing down. You got little chunks of Velcro, use as your discretion. It came with a string. I have no idea what the string is for, but you got string. You have these clear plastic bits. One side does have, it has a film on it that has to be removed before you glue. And they give you a lot of extras. Looks like there's a lot of stuff there. You really only need one of those control arms and then 2 of those little plastic spacers. The clevises and everything else, those are just extras. Real quick, let's talk about what's required for assembly. So you have your instructions and you print out your copy of the assembly. Pay close attention to the elevator install. There's gluing involved with CA. And once you're done, well, you don't want to screw that up, so pay attention. It requires some CA. I use medium and thin, and some accelerator to make things quicker. I use E6000 for installing the wing. Yeah, you could use foam tack for a lot of it if you want. I like E6000. A couple tools required: a sharp hobby knife. You've got your 1.5 hex driver for the for the basically servo connections. A file to open up a little bit, as far as so the elevator rotates smoothly. You're going to have some carbon fiber spars that you need to cut. This little tool I have cuts it very cleanly. Some sandpaper to clean up and rough up the carbon fiber so the glue sticks. A little lithium lube I use on a Q-tip around some plastic parts so the glue doesn't stick to them as far as when that's part of the elevator install. And then a few zip ties to tidy things up, and you're pretty much done. Finally, let's get assembling on this thing. The tricky part is that elevator. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, pay close attention to the documentation. Read it several times because it's really important that you have the correct elevator you're gluing together first. You're going to use some CA to glue that elevator piece to the carbon fiber spar. Remember to remove the thin film. So all the gluing of parts, cleaning things up with a little alcohol, making sure the elevators are level before you do a final lockdown on basically all the gluing. Just be careful. And then of course, in the end, you'll have this elevator or stabilator that's working perfect. Go ahead and attach the clevis and make any adjustments you do after you've neutralized the servo. The wing is glued onto the fuselage saddle, which requires that you have this, as far as the glue right down the center. So you go through and measure a couple dots here and there, and then you're going to draw a line, and then that all gets glued on. Let me show you what that looks like. It says you could use thick CA, which is fine, but I like a flexible adhesive like E6000. So I put on a fair amount, keeping it inside the lines, then used a brush to spread it all around. I put a little also on the fuselage saddle. After that, lined it up, pressed it together. And eventually, you do want to make sure that the wings and the tail section, the elevator, are parallel. I added some weights to make sure it adheres well, and I checked on it a lot. And when you look at it and it's not perfectly parallel, you can move things around. But you could also use these wing struts when you're installing them during that same time and make sure that everything is lined up perfectly. Those struts get put into place by basically, the smaller ones fit right and you don't need to cut them. That goes into little tabs, and then you glue them in place with CA. The longer ones do require cutting. Use a little sandpaper to rough it up so the glue adheres well. But for the most part, you can use this as a way of making sure that your wing and your horizontal stabilizer are lined up perfectly. The landing gear just snaps into place into that little plastic section there. We have these thin foam sheets that have angles on both ends. Those get installed. You're going to add whatever glue you want, and they're going to get installed right there. Line up the black line as best you can. I had to cut mine to fit properly, but they just add a little reinforcing to the fuselage. All right, let's wrap it up. Pretty much clean up everything. Add a receiver, get the Velcro installed, put on the prop, and we are done. There are a lot of different ways to set up this plane. Let me go into what I would recommend. On a plane like this, I might just use angles, but because the documentation does millimeters and distance, that's what I'm going to show on my setup page for all of these settings, along with the center of gravity and the battery and such. Here's how I have mine set up. Now, if you're newer and just want more aerobatics, dial those way down to the recommended low. Let's do a little flying with this plane, and I think you'll enjoy it. One thing I found with this plane, and yes, it's a profile plane, and instantly a lot of people think, oh, it's for 3D. But what I found, because I enjoy just a smooth flying, lightweight, fun plane that's very nimble, and this plane fit the bill. Plus, it's almost unstallable. I mean, I'm going into these Harriers, the wing is rocking like crazy, and it isn't falling out of the sky. I'm jamming on that rudder, cross control stuff. Yes, you can hover, but for me, I think this plane really lends itself to the pilot that wants a throw in the back of the car, fun plane that can take a lot of abuse.
something I encourage a lot of pilots to do, newer pilots. And again, yeah, I'm looking at this from a perspective of, is this a second or third type of plane? And it's keeping the plane in close, doing maneuvers that you can really see what the plane is doing, because you're keeping it in that immediate circle. I call it flying on the infield kind of thing. But this plane can do that because of the way it flies. It flies very slow. It's very controllable. You can jam on the control surfaces to keep it very tight. I really kind of chuckle when I'm doing these loops because the elevator just has such massive throw, and it generally isn't going to stall on you. Right there it did, but it definitely can do those loops or flops right in front of you, and you're pretty safe on it. I'm having a lot of fun flying around and doing basic aerobatics. Some of the things that I was struggling a little bit with, and I think it just requires a little bit more tuning, and that is like flying in high alpha here. I'm trying to get that nose up. I'm getting a fair amount of wing rock. This is where, and I'm not flying with AS3X. I think flying with AS3X, dialing that and tuning that a little bit better, like some of my other, my 3D planes, would get this a little bit more locked in. The CG is pushed back pretty far to help a little bit, but I was still struggling with making this super smooth. I'm flying with 4S batteries. I have both a Turnigy 750 high voltage and a 850 milliamp just regular LiPo. Both of those, I had my timer set for 4 minutes, but easily could have gone 5 minutes. The way I'm flying, if I guess you're full throttle the whole time, it might not give you as much. But for me, plenty of flight time, no issues with those smaller light batteries. A little while ago, I was talking about how important it is to fly a plane and train, keeping it in close. I see way too many pilots flying their planes far away. But sometimes it's because the plane is flying a little faster and they can't get ahead of it. Whereas this type of plane on lower rates, it will fly super slow and very stable at those slow speeds. As you can see here, I'm jamming on a fair amount of rudder. I'm using, a lot of elevator, keeping it in close, and I'm not in any danger of stalling it and falling out of the sky. Did want to play around in the wind. It's about 8 to 10 mile an hour winds, and it just offers a whole nother level of kind of fun with loops and close calls, and again, trying to keep it in close, have fun with it, because that's, for me, the name of the game with this plane. In those winds, as you can see, the slow flight and just kind of harrying into it, it's kind of like flying a kite almost. It's a little bit ridiculous, but if you use this as a training plane, it really helps you with adjusting your controls, really fine-tuning some of the skills. A lot of fun flying this plane. Let's get back into the shop and I'll summarize and kind of talk about the pros and cons of what I think of this Durafly Tundra PX. Welcome back. All right. As you saw, it was a lot of fun to fly. I flew it in horrible conditions as well as, good calm conditions, and it was just a lot of fun. First, let me kind of go through all the different pieces and parts and just summarize what do I think about the plane and the pros and cons of each area from a parts and a flight and setup and so on. From a parts perspective, this very dense EPP foam lends itself well to this kind of plane that's going to take a little bit of abuse. You literally is a throw in the car kind of plane and go to the field and have some fun. The battery that came with it was this guy right here, 850 milliamp Turnigy 4S battery. And for me, this was my favorite battery. Shoved it pretty far back on the Velcro strip to get the CG back just a little bit more than what it was stating in the manual. As far as the control, the components, the servos are metal geared servos. They're tougher because, in order to get this kind of throw and some abuse, you need a higher quality piece of equipment. The ESC is small and lightweight. The motor, more than ample power for this plane. So quite a bit there. Pretty impressed with that. From an assembly perspective, there's a lot more than what you would normally have on some of these planes that you buy. Heck, I just did a plane review the other day. There were 8 screws and a propeller. That's it. Okay, there's a lot more. As you saw in the assembly, some gluing involved, some tweaking. This elevator, there's some pieces and parts that need to be put together properly or else it's not going to work right. But it's not too much. If this is your second or third plane, following the instructions, taking your time, you'll have no problem at all. The bottom line is flight performance. How well does this thing fly? And I found that it did exactly what I wanted it to do, which was fly slow, fly close, and I could do all the aerobatic maneuvers I want in a very tight space. Meaning that I didn't need a lot of big sky. I don't need a big area to fly this. You can definitely fly this in a small park, an infield of a ball field. And I say that, and I kind of use that as a term. It's important for new pilots, as you're learning to fly closer and closer. Things happen faster when you're closer. And a plane like this is a little more forgiving because you can turn on a dime without the plane falling out of the sky. Helps your reaction time. It just helps you become a better flyer. It's nimble enough, tough enough, and it will do some of those 3D maneuvers, with the proper setup and the proper flying. I don't recommend, if this is your second plane, to go ahead and max out all the throws because that's going to be a lot to handle. Work your way into it, and this can be a lot of fun. When I was trying to do things like high alpha or Harrier, I was getting a lot of wing rock. I think if I tune it a little bit more and or put a gyro receiver in there, like AS3X, that will help a little bit also to kind of smooth things out. I think this is a solid second or third plane depending how you have it set up. I would dial down the throws quite a bit and just have this as a nice, slow flyer, easy plane to fly. That's my thought on that. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you are interested in this plane, there's a link in the description below. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and please hit that like button. It does help me out a lot and helps the channel grow. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.